Welcome everyone to our 45-minute Vinyasa in the park. It's Tuesday, and I'd like to thank you all for coming, those of you who are here in person, and also to those who are joining us via Zoom. It's a beautiful evening, isn't it? A lovely time to be out, practice a little bit of yoga. Let's take a few moments, as we always do, just to become present and settle in. And let your eyes close down. Just start to feel the breath moving in the body. Let's find about 3 more breaths. And 2 more. And 1 more. You can let your eyes open, let your arms float up and overhead. Bring the palms together and then press them down to heart center. On an inhale, reach back up. Bring the hands behind you now. Press the palms into the mat. Draw your elbows together and lift your chin. We're going to start with a little bit of a back bend. See if you can press your chest up towards the sky. Drawing the elbows together even more will bring your shoulder blades together. And then lean forward, feel the weight come off the hands and feel the arms float high. And then again, exhaling the hands to heart center. On an inhale, reach back up. Exhale the arms to a T, right hand down, left hand reaches. Feel that left side's body stretch and rise back up. And the left hand comes down and reach with the right hand. Let's just flow from side to side, kind of at your own pace. Take the time in the stretch to notice what it feels like. Draw the navel in so you're not arching the lower back too much. And let's flow through a couple more times. And maybe once more. And then bring it all back to center. Once you're there, arms come out to a T. Let's take a twist to the right, beginning our twist. Left hand to right knee. Breathe in deeply. And take your twist. And do that again. Deep breath in. Exhale and twist. And let it go. Bring it back to center. Reach the arms high. Interlace the fingers this time, and then invert the palms. Stretch the palms up towards the sky, and then look up towards your hands. Draw the navel in as you reach up through the palms. And then level the chin. Bring the arms out to a T. Let's take our twist to the left, bringing the right hand to the left knee. The left hand is down behind you. Draw a deep breath in, drawing the navel in, and then exhale into the twist. Do that a second time, breathing in deeply, again drawing the navel in, and exhale, and twist. Bring it all back to center. Now bring both hands to the knees. Straighten the elbows to the extent you can so you're sitting up nice and tall. Pull the shoulders back a little bit. Now keep the left arm straight. Press the left palm into the knee, and then bring your left shoulder down, seeing if you can align your upper body with your right thigh. Stretch it out just a little bit more, and then rise all the way back up to center and straight over to the other side. So now we're going to press into the right knee with the right hand, keeping the right elbow straight, and see if you can bring your right shoulder down so it's level with the left. Inhale and rise back up. Keep the spine long the whole way. Do it again. Over on the right side, pressing in the left palm. Inhale and rising, and over to the other side. Bring it all the way back up, and one more time on each side. And last one. We're going to come out of this a little differently now. Bring your chin to your chest, draw your navel in and round the spine to rise up so that your body kind of unfurls, and then over to the other side. We'll do the same thing here, chin on chest, round the spine to rise. And then once you're all the way up, reach your arms up and overhead, bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and bring the hands to the back of the head this time. Press the palms into the back of the head just above the neck and pull your elbows apart a bit. Now drop your right elbow down, reach your left elbow up, stay grounded in the left sitting bone, engage the core as you come back up. And bring the left elbow down and reach the right elbow up. Inhale and rise. And over to the other side. And inhale and up. And left elbow down, right elbow up. And last time, right elbow down. Last time on this side anyway. And inhale it back up. And this is the last one. Left elbow down, right elbow reaching. And then come back up. Release your hands. And bring them down in front. Let's come to table pose now. With the hands under the shoulders, inhale to cow pose, and exhale to cat, and inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. Just continue flowing 5 more times. We're going to do 7 total. Inhaling to cow pose, exhaling to cat. Feel the breath moving through the body. Feel the spine arching and rounding. 3 more times through. And twice more. And 1 more time. Now come back to a neutral spine and then center the right hand, press it into the mat so the right hand is just below your face, and then reach the left hand high and lift your gaze up so you're looking at the thumb on the left hand. Press into that right palm, reach the left hand a little higher. It's a big spinal twist. Now bring the left hand under and tap the shoulder, the right shoulder with the left hand, then press into the right hand and reach back up. We're going to do that a second time. Under and tap the shoulder and then reach back up. And last one, under and tap and reach back up, stretch it up high, and then bring the left hand down. Put it right where the right hand was and reach the right hand high. Left hand is down, right hand high. Now, right hand comes under the body, tap the left shoulder, outside of the shoulder, and reach back up. Twice more, under the body, tap, and press in the left hand, reach high with the right, and last one, under and tap, and then reach back high, and then bring the right hand down. Walk the hands forward 4 or 5 inches. Keep your hips right over your knees. Now draw your navel up and then glide the hips forward and then press them down. You're going to lift your chin a little here if you like. The elbows are straight. Press the hands into the mat. Now draw the navel up to come out and press the tailbone towards the heels as we lengthen the whole body, the whole upper body, all the way from the tailbone through the fingertips. On an inhale, rise back up and glide it forward. This is a dynamic version of cat-cow. And press back, tailbone reaching towards the heels, lengthening. And again, gliding forward. And last one, press the tailbone back towards the heels. And then come back up to table pose and bring the hands back so the hands are under the shoulders, just our normal stance in table pose. Then from there, step your right foot forward, bringing the right foot between the hands. Press into the right foot and rise up, reaching your arms up and overhead. Stretch up nice and high. Press that right knee forward a little bit more. Couple more breaths. Stay with it. And one more breath. Now bring the hands down on either side of the right foot. Tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat. And then step the right foot back to plank pose. Let's take a couple of breaths in plank. And then bring the knees to the mat. Chest and chin follow as we come into Cobra Pose. Heart lifts up off the mat in Cobra Pose. Elbows tucked in nice and close to the body. Release all the way down. Now tuck your toes. Stiffen your body as you push to plank. Beautiful plank pose. And then lift the hips high. Downward facing dog. Couple of breaths now in downward facing dog. And maybe one more. Now, step the right foot forward so it ends up between the hands. And the left foot follows, standing forward fold. Once you're there, let your head drop down. See if you can bring the weight into the front of the feet. And your chin is coming a little bit closer to your chest. Now bring the arms out to a T, press into the front of the feet and rise. We're going to come all the way up, reverse swan dive, reach the arms high, and exhale the hands, bringing them to heart center. On an inhale up, exhale the arms to a T and swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift now, bringing the hands to the top of the shins, weight in the front of the feet, and then release the hands all the way down to the mat, and step your right foot back. Left foot's going to follow into plank pose. We come back to plank pose now. Bring the hips down so they're aligned with the shoulders and heels. Press your hands into the mat a little bit more so the shoulders rise up. Now bring the knees to the mat, back to table pose. Once you're in table pose, step your left foot forward between your hands and rise up. Low crescent lunge, pressing into the left foot. Couple more breaths. Press that left knee forward even a little bit more. There you go. And then bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Now tuck your toes and bring your right knee off the mat and step the left foot back to plank pose. Take a deep breath in plank. And on the exhale, let the knees come to the mat. The chest and chin follow as we inchworm our way into Cobra Pose. Second Cobra Pose of the practice. Remember, the elbows are tucked in close to the body in Cobra Pose. Navel and chest pressing forward, moving into a beautiful back bend. Now release all the way down. Tuck your toes, push to plank, and let your hips rise. Downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right leg up. And step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. And left foot follows, standing forward fold. Second time we've been here. This time, keep your chin on your chest and round your spine as you rise, so the spine stays rounded the whole way up. Then once you come up, let your arms float high and exhale the hands, bringing them to heart center. Take a breath. And one more. How's everybody doing today? Good? All right. A little windy. Arms reach high. Now reach up and back. A little bit of a back bend. And now fold all the way forward. Come to a half lift. And then bring the hands all the way down to the mat. Step your right foot back. Your left foot's going to follow. And this time flow through a vinyasa. Either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. You choose which you prefer. Now upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. On an inhale, reach your right leg high. And step the right foot forward so it comes between the hands. Bring the left knee to the mat, reach the arms up and overhead. So second time we've been here on this side. This time we're going to bring the arms out to a T with the palms facing up. Reach the hands apart from one another. And then take a twist. Bring the left elbow to the right knee, join the palms, and reach the right elbow high. Keep pressing the right knee forward as you do that so you're creating sensation at the top of that left leg. Now keep the palms together, press into the right foot coming back up, and then reach the arms high, and exhale the hands on either side of that right foot. Tuck the toes and bring the left knee off the mat, and then the right foot steps back to plank pose. Take a breath in plank, and two more, and one more. Now flow through a vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, as always, upward facing dog. And then when you're ready, tuck your toes and find your hips lifting into downward facing dog. On the inhale, lift the left leg up. And then step your left foot forward, bringing it between the hands. Bring the right knee to the mat, untuck the toes. Press in the left foot and reach up. How's it feeling in the sun? Nice? Press the left knee forward a little more. And now the arms come out to a T. Take a deep breath. Exhale and twist. You're twisting to your right this time, bringing the right elbow to the left, or to the left rather. Bringing the right elbow to the left knee. Press that left knee forward a little bit more if you can. Now keep the palms together. As you press in the left foot, you're going to come up. And then reach the arms high and exhale the hands down on either side of the left foot. Now tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat, and then step the right foot forward into a standing forward fold. Let your head drop down and maybe begin to feel sensation in the back of both legs and the hamstrings, maybe into the gluteal muscles. You can bend the knees a little bit here and let your head drop down. So let the neck muscles really begin to release. If you want to shake your head yes and no, go ahead and do that. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace your fingers behind your back, and reach your knuckles up to the sky. Keep the weight in the front of the feet and slowly rise. So the heels are almost floating as you come up. Once you're all the way up, pause and press the knuckles down towards the heels. Now draw your navel in and then release the hands. Reach them high and then to heart center. Now feet about hip width apart. Bring the arms out to a T. We're going to do a standing twist. So I want to come down halfway, keeping the spine nice and long. Then remember to bend your right knee, bring your right hand down, press the right hand into the mat, right below your face, and reach the left hand up. Right knee is bent quite a bit, left leg is straight. Now pick up the right hand and then rotate the left hand down, put it where the right hand was. Now the left knee bends and the right leg is straight. Good job, everybody. Let's do it twice more on each side. Right hand down, right knee bends. And then left hand down, left knee bends. One more time on each side. Right hand down, right knee bending. Bend the right knee even a little more. And last one, left hand down, left knee bends, straighten that right knee. Now bring both arms out to a T and then slowly rise. Come all the way up, reach the arms high, look up at the palms and bring them together and pull them down to heart center. Whew. How's everybody doing? Good? All right. Inhale, up and back again. Little back bend. And forward. Come to a half lift. Exhale the hands all the way down to the mat. Step or jump back to plank pose. Now flow through a vinyasa. Come to upward facing dog. Take 2 breaths now in upward facing dog. And then tuck your toes and lift your hips, downward facing dog. Stretch it out now. You can bend one knee and then the other, kind of pedaling it out a little if that feels good. Noticing the stretch in the back of the legs as you do that. Then come to stillness in downward facing dog. On an inhale, reach your right leg up and find 3-legged dog. So open the hips to the left. And then level the hips off and step the left foot forward, but just 3/4 of a step. Not all the way between the hands. Now spin the right heel to the mat. Keep the left knee bent and rise Warrior One. In Warrior One, remember the hips are square to the front of the mat. Move your right foot over that way. A little more. Now pull the left hip forward. Left hip forward. That's the one on the left side. Yeah, there you go. You got it. Bend the right knee just a little bit more. And then bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, and straighten the elbows. Press the knuckles towards that back heel, towards the left heel. Now hinge at the hips and bring the left shoulder down, the right shoulder down towards your right knee. And see if you can reach your hands forward a little bit, picking them up off the back. Keep the right knee bent and slowly rise. Let's do that a second time. Try and keep the shoulders level as you come down. Let your head drop down. Shoulders still level, that's it, and slowly rise back up. Keep weight in the back foot. One more time. Bringing the right shoulder down to the right knee. You're almost there. Keep the right knee bent. There you go. Now keep the knee bent and rise. Slowly rise back up. There you go. Now release the hands, reach them high. Straighten your right leg. Now notice there's more or less a straight line from my fingertips through my shoulders and to my hips. Everybody see that basically? I'm going to try and keep that line as straight as possible as I hinge at the hip, reaching the fingertips forward and eventually bring the hands all the way down to the mat. It's going to create a lot of sensation in the back of the right leg. Now pick the fingertips up off the mat and slowly rise. Come all the way back up, keeping that long straight line. Let's do that just one more time. Reach the fingertips forward, come down. This creates a huge amount of core strength. And inhale and rise. Keep the length. And bend the left or the right knee. Yeah, that's okay. Bend the right knee. Back to warrior one. Bring the hands down in front of the right foot. And step the right foot all the way back to the left foot to plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And then flow through a vinyasa. Your choice of knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. As always, upward facing dog. Feel that great back bend. And then when you're ready, release. Tuck your toes, push to plank, and lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Lots and lots of length in the spine as you press your hands into the mat. Think about reaching your tailbone up and back. That's where you find that length in the spine. On an inhale, reach your left leg up and find three-legged dog on the left side. Bending the left knee, open the hips to the left side. You can soften that left foot a little bit. Remember, you don't need a lot of energy in that left foot. Now level the hips and take a 3/4 step forward with the left foot this time. Spin the right heel to the mat and rise to warrior two on our second side. So most of us have our left foot forward. Some of us have our right foot forward. So one of the benefits of doing this virtually is I can't see. But it's okay. We'll all eventually come to the same place. See if you can. Everybody's hips actually look really good. They're beautifully squared to the front of the mat. Shoulders squared to the front of the mat as well. See if we can bend that left knee just a little bit more. Now bring the hands behind. Interlace them in the awkward way this time. So use your non-dominant grip. Keep the shoulders square to the front of the mat. Now keep the spine long, hinge at the hips, and bring the left shoulder down towards the left knee. Try and keep the left knee bent as you do that. Press into the left foot and rise. Nice and slow coming up. We're going to do that twice more. Bringing the left shoulder down. Shoulders nice and level now. Press into that left foot and rise back up. And last one. Bring the left shoulder down towards the left knee. And then rise back up. And once you come all the way up, reach the arms up and overhead, straighten the left leg. And then re-square the hips towards the front of the mat. Shoulders also square to the front of the mat. Now just think about that long line again between the fingertips, the shoulders, and the hips. And you may not keep that line exactly straight, but work towards that. Now hinge at the hips, reaching the fingertips forward, pressing back on the left hip. Come all the way down, bring the hands down to the mat into pyramid pose. Now maybe walk the hands forward a little bit, creating more sensation in the back of that forward leg, the left leg for most of you. Think about reaching the top of your head towards the big toe on the left foot. That's how we're trying to lengthen. That's the direction we're going. Now pick the fingertips up off the mat. Keep everything long, so we keep reaching the hands out of the shoulders and slowly rise, and that gets the core engaged. Now bend the left knee back to warrior one. And the hands come down in front of that left foot. Step the left foot back to plank pose. And let's flow through vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, it's your choice into upward facing dog. 2 or 3 breaths in upward dog. And then when you're ready, it's time for downward facing dog. On an inhale, reach the right leg high. Let's find three-legged dog again, second time on this side. And see if you can come close to stacking the right hip over the left hip. Open the hips to the right just a little bit more. Beautiful. Now level the hips and step your right foot forward so the right foot comes between the hands. Good work on the step throughs. Now left hand stays on the mat. Right hand reaches high into a lunge twist. That right knee is still bent and pointing forward. You're pressing into the whole right foot. Now bring the right hand down to the inside of the right foot and reach the left hand up. Staying up on the ball of that back foot. Balance comes into play a little bit. Yeah. Now spin the left heel to the mat and rise to Warrior Two. Let's settle into Warrior Two. No, Warrior Two. You're in Warrior One. Yeah. So in Warrior Two, remember the hips now are square to the long edge of the mat. There you go. Yeah. So it's just remembering the alignment. So hips are squared this way, and in Warrior One, the hips are like that. So that's the difference. So maybe bend your right knee a little bit more. See how that feels. Check in with the shoulders. Make sure they're more or less over the hips. Relax the upper body a little bit. And then find extended side angle. Elbow comes to knee. Reach with the left hand. Stretch out of that left side body. Reaching the fingertips up and over, pressing into the pinky toe on that left foot. Let's rise back to Warrior Two. And then straighten the right leg. Reach the right hand up and back as we come into reverse triangle pose. Hips are still square to the long edge of the mat. Now back to Warrior Two. And then back to extended side angle pose. Second time here. And then rise to reverse triangle pose. Second time here. Now bring the arms out to a T. Right knee still nice and bent. And now straighten the right leg. Press into the back foot, reach the right hand forward and bring it down. Triangle pose. One more breath. You guys are doing great. Now right knee bends, rise back to Warrior Two. And then bring the hands down on either side of the right foot and come up onto the ball of the left foot. Scoot the right foot over a little bit and rise to a high crescent lunge. So our right foot is forward in the high crescent lunge. The left foot is back. Arms are reaching high. Now reach the fingertips forward and then bring the weight in the left foot and just pick the right foot up into Warrior Three. So we're just going to float to Warrior Three. Awesome. Hands come down now, standing splits. Elbows bend as you reach the left leg up and overhead. Now bend the right knee, step way back with the left foot into runner's lunge. With the hands on the mat, step the right foot back to plank pose and flow through a vinyasa. The sun has come out. It's beautifully warm. The wind has kind of abated a little, which is nice. When you're ready, downward facing dog. As you inhale, reach your left leg high. Let's find three-legged dog on the second side. Opening the hips to the left, working on stacking that left hip over the right hip. Pressing the right heel down towards the mat. Level the hips now. And step the left foot all the way forward so it comes between the hands. Leave the right hand on the mat, reach the left hand up. This is a lunge twist. Think about scooting that right hand so it's about 3 or 4 inches from the foot. There you go. Now the left hand comes down to the inside of the left foot. The right hand reaches high. This is a revolved lunge twist. And now spin the right heel to the mat and rise to Warrior Two. Check in with that left knee. Make sure that it's pointing straight forward. Same direction as the toes on the left foot. And then the other thing to remember is to kind of roll the back ankle, the right ankle, towards the back of your mat. That'll help you press your pinky toe into the mat and feel a little bit more grounded in the pose. Now extended side angle pose, elbow comes to knee, reach with the right hand, stretch it out. Rise through warrior two, and then straighten the left leg, reach up and back, reverse triangle pose. Come back to warrior two, the knee bends, and extended side angle pose. And rise, reverse triangle pose, reach up and back. Now back to warrior two, left knee bends, settle into pose, maybe bend that left knee a little bit more. Oh. And then straighten the left leg. Press into the back foot, reach the left hand forward, let it drop down, triangle pose, second time. This is on our second side. One more breath. And then bend the left knee. Come back to warrior two. Settle into it. Just take a breath. And then bring the hands down on either side of the left foot. Reach the left leg up and overhead. Stretch it high. And then step the left foot all the way forward, bringing it between the hands. Now rise to a high crescent lunge. Arms reach up and overhead. And remember, if you feel a little wobbly in your high crescent lunge, you can always scoot the left foot farther to the left and the right foot farther to the right. That'll give you more stability. It gives you a wider platform for the pose. Now, reach up through the shoulders, lengthening, hinge at the hips, and now bring all the weight into the left foot, follow the right foot floating, and come into warrior three. Beautiful entrance to warrior three, guys. You're doing great. Stay with it. Maybe pick that right foot up just a little bit more so it's level with the hip. Beautiful. Now the hands come all the way down to the mat, standing splits. Right leg reaches high. Remember here to bend the elbows. Let the shoulders drop down. Let your head get a little heavier. Maybe find the forehead come closer to the shin. And now the left knee bends, step way back with the right foot, and the left foot's going to follow. Plank pose. 3 breaths now. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. And one more breath. Let's flow through our final vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, end upward facing dog. And then when you're ready, downward facing dog. 3 breaths now in downward dog. Treating downward dog as something of a resting pose. A place where you can come back to your breath. Now bring your knees to the mat. Let's find child's pose. Knees come apart and towards the edges of the mat. Let your forehead rest on the mat if you can. And if it doesn't quite reach, you can cross your arms, take opposite elbows, and just rest your forehead on your forearms. 2 more breaths in child's pose. And 1 more. Now from child's pose, rise to table and bring your knees back so they're about hip width apart. Then probably everyone will need to walk back on their mat a little bit. Where we're going towards is puppy dog pose. To do that, walk the hands forward as far as you can, and then let your chin come down to the mat. See if you can keep your hips more or less over your knees. This will create a huge back bend. Breathe in to the back bend. So the hip placement looks really good for everybody. Maybe if you can, walk your hands forward just an inch or so. Now take a deep breath in and let your chest press down towards the mat. And one more time, deep breath in, exhale, deepen in to the back bend. Now slowly lift the navel up towards the spine to come out of the pose, or you're coming out of the back bend. And then walk your hands back so the hands are right under the shoulders. Then bend the elbows, and that should bring your elbows and your forearms pretty much down to the mat. Your elbows are probably touching your knees. Now see if you can bring the top of your head to the mat and lift your tailbone up towards the sky. So top of the head, not forehead, but top of the head on the mat. This is rabbit pose. Probably ought to be called ostrich pose. It seems more ostrich-like than rabbit-like. And that's it. Let's slowly come out. And then cross your ankles behind you and come to a seat. And once you're seated, bring your hands to the back of the knees, lift the heels, and then straighten the legs. Keep the hands behind the knees, providing support, and elbows tucked in close to the thighs, so try not to flare the elbows out. Hug them in. Now lengthen the spine, pressing your tailbone down, thinking about reaching your head away from the tailbone, and then bend the knees. Bring the soles of the feet together and either interlace or cup your hands on the pinky toe side of the feet. And on the exhale, see if you can let your heels come a little bit closer to your pubic bone, opening up those hip joints. Now, just for fun, peace fingers to big toes. And from there, lean back just a little bit. And then straighten the legs into Heron Pose, like the bird. Take a deep breath. And then as you exhale, slowly let the feet come apart into a floating splits. Press through the heels now. Chest is rising. Draw the navel in. And now soles of the feet back together. And cup the hands over the pinky toe side of the feet. Let your heels come a little closer to the pubic bone. Now if you pull up, you probably lengthen the spine and pull your shoulders back. Also opening the hips. All right, now bring the right hand to the right foot, left hand to left, into Happy Baby Pose. So just roll back, and then Happy Baby Pose, reaching the heels towards, or actually the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Think about hugging your armpits towards, or sorry, your knees towards your armpits. And if full Happy Baby is too much, a half Happy Baby will work. So just getting a hold of one foot and keeping the other foot on the mat with the knee bent. Release from Happy Baby, reach your heels all the way to the sky, legs up the wall pose. And bring your hands down by your side, palms facing down. Let's bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Walk your feet back towards your glutes until you can brush your heels with your fingertips. Then once you're there, press your feet into the mat and lift your hips. This is bridge pose. If you'd prefer to do wheel pose, feel free to do that instead. 2 more breaths in bridge pose. And 1 more. Beautiful. Release the tailbone to the mat. Hug the knees into the chest, and then you can lift your forehead towards your knees to round the spine a bit more. Now release the head down to the mat. Keep the knees up over the hips. Bring the arms out to a T. Flip the palms so they face down, so you're grounding. Now let the knees come over to the left and float just an inch or 2 above the grass or the floor. And then inhale the knees back to center and over to the right side where they float again. And just continue flowing from side to side. Not quite resting, but also noticing the hips, or the knees rather, sort of floating from side to side. And one more time on each side. And then eventually let the knees float over to the right and land. Let your gaze shift to the left. And then just settle into the spinal twist. Start to become aware again of your breath. Beautiful. Let the knees float back to center now and over to the left side. Your gaze shifts to the right, the opposite direction of the twist. Just enjoy a couple more breaths. And let the knees float back to center now. And reach the heels up to the sky again, legs up the wall pose. Hands come down by your side. We're going to do a second bridge pose. Soles of the feet to the mat. Press the feet into the mat and lift the hips into bridge. See if we can press the feet into the mat a little bit more, lifting your hips a little bit higher, and notice the tendency of the knees to want to come apart. Just invite them back so they're about hip width apart. One more breath. And release the tailbone to the mat. Once the tailbone lands, hug your knees into your chest. Rounding the spine forward. If you want to bring your forehead towards your knees, feel free to do that. And then release the head. And rock and roll forward and back a little bit. Just gently. 3, 4, 5 times. And when you're ready, rock yourself to a seat. Once you're seated, let your hands come to heart center. Press your palms together lightly. Now breathe in deeply, and as you breathe in, feel your spine lengthening. You may notice your head rising up a little bit. And then let the breath go. And do that once more. A deep breath in, feeling the head rise, and let the breath go. Thank you so much for being here today. Feel free to join me in offering loving kindness. May you be happy and well and safe, and may you be peaceful and at ease. Namaste.